I decided to die by her hand because, to fulfill her junior's dying wish, she wanted to hold a wedding with him. The moment my wife agreed, I told the system to help me leave this world. Host, will you not try a little longer? No, my heart is dead. Qinghan pressed me twice to divorce her. Both times, I failed to make it to the registry office until I lay on the operating table as a terminal patient. And she, the lead surgeon, was terrified and despairing. How could it be you? What shattered her even more was this. I would die by her hand, just as the system decreed. She would live with guilt forever. Qinghan was a surgeon. She was widely recognized as the hospital surgeon with golden hands. She was busy. So busy, she told me to divorce her only through WeChat. Make time to finalize the divorce. Wang is emotionally unstable. He cannot wait. I stared at a table full of cold dishes. The edges of the cream cake were melting, like our love, from school uniforms to wedding gowns. 10 whole years collapsing in a single day. I called her again and again. She answered on the 4th call. She asked in a flat voice, "What is it?" I was busy. Instinctively, I wanted to apologize. I thought she had been operating. Doctors have responsibilities to their patients. But then a man's soft laugh reached my ear. My clothes are already off. Hurry over. Rage shot straight to my head. Qinghan, we are not divorced yet. She explained as though it meant nothing. You misunderstood. I was bathing a Wang's cat. I shut my eyes, my nails digging into my palm. Qinghan, if we get divorced, I will disappear. It is the system's original setting. No one can change it. She said nothing. I heard her walking on the other end. She had probably moved somewhere else to take the call. She lowered her voice. Chuan, I have explained this so many times. It is only a ceremony. Once his wish is fulfilled, we will remarry. Why do you keep threatening me with your disappearance? Whenever she used my full name, it meant she was angry. When I did not answer, Qinghan's breathing grew heavier because she had told me before. She hated it most when I stayed silent. Chuan, be rational. I gave a cold laugh. You are at Ding Wang's house in the middle of the night, and you are lecturing me about reason. Is that not absurd? After all, legally, she was still my wife. A long sigh came through the line. Then, coldly, each word pierced my heart. Chuan, finalized the divorce Friday morning. I scooped a bite of cream into my mouth. Bitterness spread across my tongue. How laughable. She remembered to bathe Ding Wang's cat, but forgot that today was my birthday. Perhaps her heart was no longer here, and her memories had gone with it. System, can you sing a birthday song? No, I can only sing funeral songs. I smiled. Then there is no need. Save it for when I die. Help me leave this world. Once I leave, I can return to my original world. In my original world, I may not have had a healthy body, but I had family and friends who loved me. I even missed the rice noodle rolls downstairs, and the beef soup at the old street market, and of course, my dad's steaming clay pot congee. But here, I was the only one who cooked for Qinghan because she was a doctor. Her hands were precious to her and to her patients. But the instant I saw Ding Wang's social media post, I broke. Her elegant, well-proportioned hands, the hands I had guarded so carefully, were patiently peeling crayfish for him. The caption read, "Her golden hands have only ever peeled crayfish for me." Everything I had done for her felt like a joke. Host, will you not try a little longer? No, my heart is dead. From the moment she decided to divorce me, the mission to win her over was doomed to fail. It was only a matter of dying sooner or later. Why not free myself sooner? The system sighed softly. Leaving voluntarily will be somewhat painful. The good news is, you can choose how you die. I thought about it seriously. Then I smiled faintly. Qinghan never believed I would disappear. Then I would die by the hands of that golden-handed surgeon. I imagined her expression then would be quite something. On Friday, I again failed to reach the registry office for our divorce. Once the departure process began, my body quickly began showing signs of decline. My immunity was dangerously low. I came down with a fever. My lips were so dry that thick, rough skin peeled from them. Instinctively, I called for Qinghan. Water. Whenever she used to be home, there was always water at just the right temperature for me. I loved and had grown used to her indulging me in little things. But when I opened my eyes, I remembered she had moved out long ago. The day she agreed to marry Ding Wang, she told me, "He is my teacher's son. For my teacher's sake, I have to look after him. He is dying. It is only a wedding ceremony. Be more understanding." That day, I stared at her blankly. If it is only a ceremony, why do we need a divorce certificate? She lowered her eyes. A frosty look settled over her fair, lovely face. I cannot let him be the other man. Right. We would not be legally divorced. Would that not make him the other man? So she intended to make this act convincing down to the last detail. I looked at her without emotion. Qinghan, if we divorce, I will never remarry you. She froze for a second. She dropped the suitcase in her hand and gripped my arm tightly. What did you say? If you are not with me, who will you be with? You told me yourself. You are an orphan in this world. Apart from me, you have no family at all. Perhaps her grip hurt me, but it hurt my heart too. Patiently, I pushed her away. Let go. You were the first to abandon me. But she ignored me and threw herself into my arms. Thinking of our 10 years together, I could not stop my eyes from filling with tears. Chuan, do not be upset. If you are hurting, I will hurt even more. How could I ever abandon you? She tried clumsily to comfort me. Her kisses traveled from my lips to my Adam's apple. She said she was an orphan too. Her teacher had cared for her since childhood. She said Ding Wang was only like a younger brother. I believed her. After all, he had a rare terminal illness and was near death. The system said that if we restored our marriage within 3 months, the mission would not count as a failure. Until a week later, when I brought her nourishing soup at the hospital. As I passed the outdoor parking lot, Ding Wang sat in the driver's seat, windows fully down. She stood outside the car. With her hands in her lab coat pockets, she stood graceful and poised. Yet the next moment, she bent down toward his lips and kissed that so-called younger brother. It felt as if a bucket of icy water had been poured over my head. Numbly, I watched her reach out her pale, slender fingers and ruffle his hair in a spoiled, affectionate gesture. Be good. Go home and rest. He seemed to mutter something. Then he put on sunglasses and drove away. How painfully familiar it all was. She used to do those things for me. She wanted to fulfill his wish to marry. The more I thought about it, the more terrified I became. Was it really only pity and responsibility? Perhaps her heart had wandered long ago, without technically breaking the vows of our relationship, and it had found a seemingly justifiable way to stray to another man. No wonder she was so eager to divorce me and marry him legally. That day, I threw the nourishing soup into the trash. Along with the heart that had once loved her without holding back, I threw it away too. In my feverish haze, the phone rang again and again. I struggled to find my phone and answered it. Qinghan's irritated voice came through the phone. Could you be a little more punctual? I've been waiting half an hour. Oh. The fever muddled my head. I forgot we were supposed to divorce today. Weakly, I said, I have a fever. Can we do it another day? I was too weak to even get up. How could I go? She gave a soft laugh on the other end. Have you forgotten that I'm a doctor with a constitution as strong as yours? How could you possibly have a fever? You're already 28. You're not some young boy like a Wang. Stop throwing a tantrum. I was so angry. I laughed. Maybe you don't know this, but that young boy is only 2 years younger than me. She used to call me young boy too. Maybe she's just tired of me now. It didn't matter. I no longer expected anything from her. I missed our second divorce appointment too. Something happened on my way out. At an intersection, a 2-year-old girl in a McDowell pinafore dress ran out on her little legs, looking for her dad. A speeding car turning the corner lost control. Without time to think, I shoved her towards safety. With a bang, I felt as if I had been smashed to pieces. The driver did not stop for a second, flooring it and speeding away. I turned and saw that the license plate looked familiar. In a flash, I remembered the hospital parking lot. Ding Wang's car. It was him. The girl's panicked family scooped her up. She wailed in terror. Uncle is hurt. All I felt was pain. The pain of my insides being crushed. But there was none of the blood I expected. System. Am I dying? It is a shame it did not go according to plan. But saving a sweet little girl before I die means I can die without regrets. The system froze for a few seconds, then replied evenly. Congratulations. Before your designated death date. You cannot die yet, host. Not until the day you depart will all the effects of the crash appear. The system added awkwardly. I negotiated this benefit for you. For some reason, I found the system a little adorable. I smiled. Good. Then Qinghan can see what her new husband did to me. The girl's father and grandmother crowded around me. Her father said, eyes red, you saved our baby. You saved our whole family. They nearly knelt before me. I kept insisting I was fine, but they firmly ushered me into their car anyway. They took me to the hospital. How could you possibly be fine? That car's bumper was caved in. How could a person be tougher than a car? With no choice, I informed Qinghan in advance. I was in a car accident. Let's reschedule again. What I did not expect was that the hospital they brought me to was the very hospital where Qinghan worked. Let me see the test results. A familiar voice sounded above me. Qinghan swept in, a sheen of sweat on her brow, as though she had just rushed back from outside. The other doctor patted her shoulder. Dr. Gu, don't worry. He's fine. Before the system's designated death date, no machine could detect what was wrong with me. Qinghan meticulously read every paper report. When she looked up, her eyes held an unfamiliar sharpness. No external or internal injuries. What kind of car accident is that? Li Chuan, you have stood me up again and again. What exactly are you playing at? With my hands clasped, I said, it was a car accident, obviously. Oh, and your new husband was the one who hit me, then fled the scene. Without a thought, she frowned and objected. Impossible. Wang is honest. He would never do something like that. So you mean I'm dishonest? I would lie? After I said it, we both froze. A flicker of discomfort crossed her eyes, because she had realized it too. She trusted Ding Wang more than she trusted me. I asked the system in my mind, will he be arrested? The system told me decisively, yes, this world is still governed by the rule of law. Oh. Then I can rest easy. Let the law decide just how innocent he is. If the system had not kept me alive with an impact that violent, I should have been long dead. He was a hit-and-run criminal. I raised my hand and checked the time. Qinghan, come on. Let's go to the registry office now. Otherwise, I won't have time. She slipped her hands into her pockets. Her tone flat as she asked, why won't you have time? Because I'm about to die. At 4 in the afternoon, 3 days later, I had once asked the system, is there anything special about that time? At 4 in the afternoon, 10 years ago. That was when the two of you first met. Oh. A fitting end to where it began. Qinghan glanced coldly out the window. Her tone was impatient. Chuan, you should see a psychiatrist. I laughed in fury. Qinghan, you're the one who needs a psychiatrist. You want it both ways, you cheating bitch. I turned to leave, but she grabbed my wrist. You haven't been eating properly lately. You look thinner. None of your business. Eat first, Chuan. Just as I was about to refuse, her phone vibrated. I saw Ding Wang's name on the screen. Qinghan instinctively released my hand. He whined on the other end of the line, saying he had a nightmare and was scared. Qinghan soothed him gently for a few moments. She glanced at me, then told him, I'll be back soon. When the call ended, a trace of hesitation flickered in her eyes. Chuan, go eat first. I sneered inwardly. A nightmare? He was afraid because he had hit someone and felt guilty. Fine. Qinghan chose him once again and missed her last meal with me. When she thinks of it someday, will she regret it? The final countdown of my life. I lay on the cold operating table. Wave after wave of agony tore through me, as if my insides were being ground apart. It's okay. Just endure it. Soon, I can go home and have Dad's clay pot congee again. Qinghan's furious voice message still echoed in my ears. Li Chuan, do you really think I have no temper? Wang is dying. Can you be more understanding? That was because I had missed our appointment for the 3rd time. But I had told her I didn't have time. I was going to die. She simply did not believe me. 10 minutes later, Qinghan was dressed in surgical scrubs. She entered the operating room without expression. Originally, this was not her surgery, but the system had arranged it. No matter who was assigned, it would end up being her. System, what is my terminal illness? A tumor. You'll need surgery. Qinghan's signature specialty. Why did the system sound like it was gloating? The anesthetic had been administered. Qinghan was ready. Her assistant could not help asking quietly, Dr. Gu, can you do this? The assistants knew who I was. They had even admired her in private. Dr. Gu really does have nerves of steel. Anyone who can operate on her own husband is made of steel. Yet Qinghan had not realized at all that beneath the surgical drape lay the husband she had furiously berated just over an hour ago. She took the scalpel her assistant handed her and expertly made a 16-centimeter incision in my abdomen. Compared to the surgeries she had performed before, this tumor operation was nothing unusual. Even failure would have been understandable. After all, it was highly difficult, with an extremely low success rate. But thanks to her years of experience, the operation remained within her control. But the word unexpected is what people can never truly control. For instance, Qinghan unexpectedly noticed, beside the incision, a faint pink scar on the skin. Her hand froze in midair. The assistants were all surprised. This had never happened before, especially not after the patient had already been cut open. Dr. Gu seemed dazed. I was the only one in the room who knew why. Qinghan knew that scar better than anyone. Through countless loving, passionate nights, she had touched it and kissed it. Chuan, this is your scar, but it will mark me for life. It was the mark left when I took a knife for her. When she was a resident, I brought her meals. A patient whose surgery had failed lost his mind and waved a fruit knife wildly. Back then, she was only a newly qualified doctor. It had nothing to do with her. But as she helped another innocent patient off the ground, the knife slashed toward her abdomen. Watch out! I shoved her away. In the chaos, the knife plunged into my lower abdomen. Qinghan immediately pressed her hand over my wound. Blood ran through her fingers and covered both her hands. Her face white as paper, she supported me as I staggered toward the emergency room. Only after my wound was treated did a little light return to her hollow eyes. Her eyes rimmed red as she looked at me. She buried her face in my neck. Chuan, seeing you bleed hurts so much. I'd rather die myself. Smiling, I patted her. Then will you treat me better from now on? She kissed my earlobe. I'd give you my life if you wanted it. That day, she lay in my arms, carefully avoiding my wound. Utterly serious, she said, Chuan, you're too kind. Please think about yourself more in the future, okay? She was the one who once told me to think of myself. Now she said Ding Wang was innocent and told me to be more forgiving. An assistant quietly prompted her. Dr. Gu, is something wrong? Qinghan ignored them and hurried forward. She yanked away the surgical drape covering my face. Her pupils contracted instantly, her face filled with terror and despair. How could it be you? But I could not answer her now. Under anesthesia, I closed my eyes in a haze. My face was pale, cold sweat beating on my brow. The departure process had reached its final stage. It really hurt. Almost there. It will be over soon. Qinghan's eyes widened. Her voice shook terribly. Chuan, you can't die. I won't let anything happen to you. She wanted to touch me, but she could not. She was afraid of causing an infection. The assistants were surprised. Did Dr. Gu not know the person beneath her scalpel was her own husband? But their professionalism quickly restored their composure. They were focused on the operating table. The system said coolly in my mind, this is probably Qinghan's most agonizing operation. After all, this operation has only a 5% chance of success. Anyone would be nervous. When she picked up the scalpel again, her fingers trembled slightly, but she swiftly suppressed it with astonishing willpower. Years of professional discipline took over. The operation continued in an orderly fashion. Increase the anesthesia. The tumor shows signs of spreading. Separate the adhesions. Remove the diseased tissue. Qinghan truly was the hospital's most renowned and youngest surgical prodigy. Just as she said, she had it under control. An assistant's excited voice rang out. It worked. They cheered softly, but I was not surprised at all. Of course, the operation had succeeded for now. My time limit for leaving this world had not yet arrived. Only 2 hours remained. Following post-operative procedure, I needed to spend an hour in the observation room. All my vital signs checked out well. Qinghan regained her usual calm expression. Only she and I remained in the room. Apart from our brief exchange at the hospital after the accident, it had been a long time since we had spent more than an hour together. She whispered in my ear, I never imagined these hands would one day operate on a Chuan. The anesthetic wore off quickly from me. That was thanks to the system's settings. I opened my eyes and mocked her. I never imagined either. These hands of yours would one day peel crayfish for someone else. In this world, like her, I was an orphan. We had both earned our tuition bit by bit. I remember when we had just graduated. We were so poor we could not bring ourselves to buy a washing machine. Southern winters were damp, freezing, and bone-deep cold. Every time I washed clothes, my fingers turned red with cold. I could not bear to let her put her hands in that water even once. You don't need to do this. Your hands are meant to hold a scalpel and save more lives and families. Chuan, do you put doctors on a pedestal? I do. In my original world, a doctor saved my life too. Okay, I won't let you down, Chuan. The room was silent enough to hear a pin drop. Qinghan seemed choked by my words. After a long while, she sighed softly. Chuan, Wang is dying. Can you stop holding it against him? I laughed. I'm dying too. Why shouldn't I hold it against him? Qinghan's eyes darkened at once. You won't die. Don't you trust my skills? Perhaps realizing I was a patient now, she softened her voice. When did you get this illness? The day you said you wanted a divorce and refused to believe I would disappear. My words choked her again. She could only change the subject. I know you don't like scars. I stitched the incision beautifully. The scarring will be minimal. I did not respond. The silence in the room made her uncomfortable. She was about to say more when a young nurse arrived. Dr. Gu, your phone has been ringing nonstop. Chuan, I need to take this. A little while later, Qinghan returned looking slightly uneasy. Chuan, I have an urgent matter to attend to. I'll have the nurses take good care of you. Of course, I knew where she was going. Her original plan was to divorce me this morning, then hold a lawn wedding with Ding Wang that afternoon. Dr. Gu was quite the time management master. So busy. Qinghan, in this world, I have less than 2 hours left. Are you sure you won't say goodbye to me one last time? Truthfully, I did not want to spend more time with her either. If she stayed, I could at least consider it her final gesture toward our years of love and marriage. Her last shred of sincerity. Then I would return the gesture in kind. I would ease her guilt, if only a little. But she did not want that. Qinghan stood up. Even after 3 tense hours of surgery, she still looked energized and composed. The panic she felt when she discovered I was the patient had long since vanished. Chuan, once you've recovered, I'll personally schedule you a psychiatry appointment. That calm, non-negotiable tone was something I truly hated. I sneered. Dr. Gu, I hope you don't regret this. Qinghan remained calm. She thought I was throwing a tantrum. She glanced at me and curled her lips into a faint smile. I won't. Chuan, what you need now is proper rest. With that, she disappeared through the door. Her phone had already buzzed several times in her pocket. By now, her wedding venue should be full of guests. Ding Wang was probably growing impatient. I let it go. Qinghan, this was your own choice. After Qinghan left, the system sighed in my mind. Sigh. She missed her final chance. I was surprised. The system could actually feel regret. Host, you're a kind young man. I selfishly secured an opportunity for you. I wanted you to live well in this world. If she had chosen you today, the successful surgery would have become real. I smiled. System, did you forget? Even if she'd stayed today, I still wouldn't have survived. Because Ding Wang already ran me over and killed me. The system fell silent for a moment. Yes, I know. Host, do you want to know why Ding Wang was speeding that day? Because he was rushing to the airport to pick up Qinghan. Qinghan was returning from a business trip that day, and he was rushing to pick her up. Because Qinghan was in a hurry to divorce me. What a twisted chain of cause and effect. I sighed softly. Even if I had not been in that crash, and the surgery had succeeded, I still would not have taken her back. You do not love her anymore. The system had witnessed our 10 years together. That is right. Why, the system pressed. Aren't you the system? How could you not know? The system is not all-powerful. Sometimes, even I overlook things. I smiled. Ding Wang does not have a cat. Qinghan told me that herself, her mentor, and Junior are both allergic to animal fur. Why would people allergic to animal fur keep a cat? The system was stunned for a long while, so they could not have been bathing a cat that night. Those words from the call, "I've already taken my clothes off. Come quickly." It was enough to explain everything. She had betrayed me, body and soul, yet calmly lied to my face. She's dirty. I can't take her back. The system rarely swore, but this time it did. That cheating bitch deserves to die of guilt. This is bad. The patient is hemorrhaging. Tissue infection. Dr. Gu's surgery has developed severe complications. His heart has stopped. Put him on bypass. How could the patient's heart, liver, spleen, and lungs all be ruptured? Actually, I had already detached from my body. My soul floated above, watching my life slowly fade away. Why can we not reach Dr. Gu? One call got through, but someone hung up. I asked the system whether it knew who had hung up. Oh, this is getting good. It was Ding Wang. The system sounded delighted by the drama. Come on, host. I will take you to the wedding. The system was becoming more adorable by the day. Before leaving, I looked at myself on the operating table. All my injuries from the crash had appeared. It was really that bad. My whole body was shattered. One arm and my left leg were twisted at grotesque angles. They were probably broken in the impact. How pitiful. At least I pushed that little girl out of the way. She was so sweet and adorable. Thankfully, she was unharmed. Watching someone else's wedding was surprisingly interesting. Flowers were piled like mountains, and colorful balloons drifted overhead. It looked like happiness, except theirs was stolen. System. The red wine on that long table looks pretty good. Host, you seem rather happy. Do I need to remind you that this is your wife's wedding? I wrinkled my nose, because I will be going home soon. Of course I am happy. As for Qinghan, she could no longer affect my feelings. When I first discovered her betrayal, I was devastated and unwilling to accept it. I even doubted myself. Night after night, I lay awake. Whenever I closed my eyes, my mind replayed it over and over. Her fingers intertwined with his. They kissed with smiles on their faces. They even ended up in bed together, wrapped in each other's arms. The world I had once protected collapsed forever. Later, I realized that was foolish. You cannot let a woman who changed her heart punish the good person you are. What you need to do is fight for every chance to live in the sunlight. Host, look. The cheating bitch is here. Qinghan wore a white wedding gown. She appeared at the far end of the lawn. She was graceful, elegant, and captivating. The groom was handsome too, with a polished, gentlemanly air. At least, there was not the slightest hint on his face of panic from killing someone 3 days ago. I slowly drifted over to Qinghan's side. I heard her softly ask Ding Wang where her phone was. Ding Wang's gaze flickered evasively. I put it away in the dressing room for you. Her exquisitely tailored wedding gown really had nowhere to fit a phone. Did I get any calls? I think there was one. Ding Wang froze briefly. Do you want to get it? But the wedding is about to begin. Qinghan paused. No need. She gazed calmly ahead. I wondered whether she remembered. When we got married, we were so poor we could only afford silver rings. Yet we were so happy. Chuan, do you regret marrying me? Never. Dr. Gu, you're a real catch. Later, she really did give me a large diamond ring, but I no longer felt the joy I once had. Chuan, my junior is sick and dying. Can I grant him one last wish? He is only 26. It is so sad. Qinghan, go quickly. Chuan, his wish is to marry me. I froze instantly. Qinghan, that wish is unreasonable. But he is dying. Even if he's dying, he has no right to steal someone else's wife and love. Qinghan, that is an immoral wish. That day, she stood on the balcony for a long time. Finally, she spoke with icy detachment. Chuan, you've changed. You are not as kind as you used to be. Then she left me in a room full of silence. Qinghan, have you forgotten? That loneliness is what I fear most. I sat in the empty living room, turning on every light, one by one. Yet something still felt missing. In the end, I buried my face in my arms and curled into a ball. I was not the one who changed. Qinghan, you were. Once, while she was with Ding Wang, I called her. Qinghan, my stomach hurts. That day, she was with Ding Wang at the very top of a Ferris wheel. Legend says that kissing there represents love and eternity. Actually, I did not have stomach problems. I was standing beneath the Ferris wheel, watching them sit together so intimately. My heart was what hurt. Qinghan knew my health better than anyone. Her tone over the phone was flat and cold. Chuan, I am a surgeon, not a gastroenterologist. That moment, I felt so miserable I could have died. When someone cannot tolerate even your occasional moods, they probably do not love you anymore. Love and indifference have always been worlds apart. System. Is it almost time for them to exchange rings? That diamond ring is so dazzling. It must have cost a fortune. The system was practically laughing at me in exasperation. Host, should you not be wondering when the police will arrive? Why rush? Let them enjoy their happiness a little longer. That way, the truth will hurt even more when it comes. Wang smiled at Qinghan. Senior, I have liked you for a long time. Today, my wish has finally come true. Qinghan's expression was slightly unnatural. Her eyes lowered as she drifted into thought. Maybe she remembered when we got married, because she had said the same thing to me. Chuan, my wish to marry you has finally come true. The irony was that today, she left me in the hospital to make someone else's wish come true. She had probably taken off our wedding ring not long ago. A faint mark still circled her ring finger, but I had no such mark. The wedding band I had once treasured was thrown away the day she agreed to marry Wang. I tossed it into the trash and never wanted it again. Now, Qinghan's elegant fingertips held the diamond ring. She was about to place it on Wang's finger. Several uniformed officers suddenly burst through the flowered archway at the entrance. The system's voice carried a trace of excitement. Oh. The show is starting. What? Do you need a bag of popcorn? Host, have you forgotten? I am on the clock right now. The system nearly made me laugh. Wang, we received a report that you were involved in a hit and run. Wang's lips trembled violently. Like a drowning man, he clutched Qinghan's hand tightly. I did not do it. The police had seen plenty of people deny everything. They stated professionally that surveillance footage showed. At 10 in the afternoon on the 11th of this month, the vehicle he was driving was on Wang High Road. He struck someone while speeding, then fled the scene. The victim was a young man. At that, I saw Qinghan's fingers tremble. She was so intelligent. She should have realized that at that time that day, Wang had been on his way to pick her up. Qinghan pulled her arm free, her face grim. She backed away to steps. She glared fiercely at Wang. That day, you picked me up in a different car. Was it because your original car had hit someone? Wang shook uncontrollably. She grabbed his collar in a violent rage. Did you hit a Chuan? Wang began babbling incoherently. Senior, I did not know. Impossible. There were no cameras there. The police calmly told him. There were cameras. They'd only been installed the day before. Wang's body lurched forward. There is one more matter. You are suspected of purchasing forged medical records. You must cooperate with the investigation. Wang instantly went deathly pale. He did not even have the strength to argue. Finally, he went limp, and the police took him away. He would face criminal prosecution. The guests began to murmur indignantly. What a humiliation. Getting arrested on his wedding day. He always looked so honest and innocent. He killed someone and fled. That is cold-blooded. So he was not sick at all. He bought fake records and pretended to be terminally ill. He tricked us into tears. That is vile. Is the bride not supposed to be an exceptional doctor? Did she not notice anything? Qinghan could not possibly have missed it. It was as if she had been slapped hard across the face. Host, did Qinghan really not notice? I gave a faint smile. Perhaps she simply did not want to see it. She wanted to be the dragon slayer who saved the prince, never realizing she was the evil dragon herself. The system said indignantly. Ugh. What kind of cheating monster is she? Qinghan found her phone in the dressing room. Unfortunately, it was dead and the screen was black. She turned and rushed toward the parking lot. She ran so frantically that she even fell. She floored the gas and raced toward the hospital. Host, I think she ran several red lights. Then she can wait for her license to be revoked. Her lips pressed tight. She did not even stop to change out of her wedding gown. She rushed straight to the ward. Where is a Chuan? Where is Li Chuan? Her frantic state frightened the nurses. Dr. Gu, there is no Li Chuan here. How could he not be here? Have you people even done your jobs properly? Fortunately, her assistant stopped her in time. The assistant spoke hesitantly. Ms. Gu, Li Chuan truly is not here. Qinghan was usually composed at work, but now she had lost both reason and poise. Damn it. Then where did he go? Li Chuan is in the morgue. Qinghan swayed twice. She seized her assistant by the collar. No. He was fine just now. The surgery was successful. What nonsense are you talking about? On the way to the morgue, with every word her assistant said, Qinghan's face grew a shade paler. His internal organs looked as if a violent impact had shattered them. It looked like he had been in a serious car accident. She only muttered to herself, impossible. The surgery was clearly successful. The assistant had no choice but to tell her the truth. Ms. Gu, all the sutures you placed have split open. Qinghan's legs felt like lead. She could barely walk, and the tumor had spread into the surrounding tissue. It was like a sledgehammer striking her heart. Those words meant her surgery had failed. The golden hands had failed completely. She had performed countless operations, yet her husband's tumor surgery was the one that failed. It was a devastating blow to her confidence. Qinghan asked numbly, when did he die? 1 hour after you left the hospital. What had she been doing then? Attending a wedding. Her wedding to Wang. Amid the flowers, balloons, and celebration, her husband was slipping into the final moments of his life. Several times, Qinghan could not bring herself to lift the white sheet over me. Her hands shook as if she had Parkinson's. Lift it already. Once you do, the system process will end. Then I can go home and have the porridge my dad made. At last, Qinghan shut her eyes, then ripped the sheet away. I saw my own corpse as well. Well, at least my face was still presentable. The rest of my body was mangled beyond recognition. The system sighed beside me. At first, Qinghan looked calmly at my body. Then, as if tenderly, she stroked my face. Finally, she lifted my hand to her lips. Chuan, wake up. Come on, let us go home. We will not get divorced. We will never divorce again, okay? The room was silent. No one answered her. Her assistant stood helplessly nearby. At a complete loss, Qinghan clung to my body and would not let go. Gradually, she seemed to lose her mind. Chuan, answer me, damn it. Get up. Let us go home, please. I am begging you. Chuan, I am truly begging you. Her tears dripped, one by one, onto my neck. I did not like this. System, will she get my body dirty? Host, it will be over soon. Bear with it. How much longer? Until midnight. Then you can return to your original world. Fine. Just a few more hours. A body cannot be taken home. Hospital management persuaded Qinghan to go home. A renowned surgeon could not keep squatting in the morgue, losing her mind. It was truly unbecoming. You still have to arrange his funeral, right? Qinghan kissed my forehead again and again. I watched with a frown. Even the system could not help muttering a curse. What a lunatic. After repeated urging from her colleagues, Qinghan finally walked out of the morgue in a daze. Seemingly calm, she asked the assistant beside her, did Chuan say anything before he died? He did. Qinghan's eyes instantly lit up. He said, congratulations on your wedding. Never see me again. Ms. Gu, what is wrong? Qinghan crashed heavily to the floor. Her knees struck the floor with a loud bang. As if she had forgotten the pain, she quickly scrambled back up. I'm going home, she said, limping toward the exit. Chuan said his stomach hurt. She unlocked the home we once shared. It was pitch black, except for the countless lights outside the windows. She did not even seem to know where the living room light switch was, because whenever she came home, the lights were always on. I would wait for her on the couch. She called out, Chuan. Of course, there was no answer. A loud clatter came from inside the room. Qinghan rushed into the bedroom. Seconds later, it was as though all her strength had drained away again. Naturally, no one was in the bedroom. It was only a picture frame falling onto the floor, under the bright fluorescent lights. She stood there stunned for a long while. The entire home was empty, like an untouched model home. Host, you did brilliantly. I would not leave her anything to remember me by. That is right. I threw away everything that belonged to me. Only her half remained in the framed photo. Even the wedding portraits showed only half. Her torn half of the portrait lay discarded on the floor. At last, she slid helplessly down the wall, clutching her head, just as I had when I first learned she had cheated. Curled up in one spot, unable to believe it, yet unwilling to accept it. 10 years, not 10 days. At first, she only sobbed quietly. Then she broke into wrenching sobs. Chuan, I was wrong. I was truly wrong. Please come back. I beg you, come back. She had likely forgotten what she once said. Does it look right for a career woman like me to cry? Well, she was anything but proper now. A flash of white light appeared. Goodbye, host. I knew I was going home. Host, will you forget me? Never. System, you are so adorable. System, thank you for accompanying me on such an extraordinary journey. Goodbye. I am going home. Extra chapter. Qinghan had not entered an operating room for a long time. She had developed a trauma response. Whenever she entered an operating room, it felt as though Chuan were lying there. Her first instinct was to run. Dr. Gu, are you really performing this operation today? Yes. Qinghan nodded at her assistant. Chuan like me being a doctor. How can I be a doctor if I do not operate? She gave a self-mocking laugh. Still, she put on her surgical gown, administered the anesthetic, make a 15-centimeter incision. At first, everything seemed to be going smoothly, until blood began pouring from the patient. Qinghan began struggling to breathe. Cold sweat ran down her temples as memories flashed through her mind. Chuan lying on the operating table. Chuan lay in the morgue. Blood. So much blood. Qinghan, will you treat me better from now on? Of course. I would even give you my life. Then the memory shifted. Chuan was pleading with her, full of helplessness. Qinghan, after we divorce, I will disappear. Chuan, can you stop using your disappearance to pressure me? Chuan, go see a psychiatrist. I will arrange it. Qinghan, you are the one who is sick. Yes, she really was sick. They had worked so hard to build a warm home. A little home with a light waiting for her every day. A home where her lonely heart finally had somewhere to belong. Why had she not cherished it? Perhaps too many peaceful days had grown dull. The pressure of operating every day. The pressure of her reputation. She needed an outlet. Wang happened to barge into her life. He admired her and clung to her, no matter how she pushed him away. To her, He was completely different, a vibrant person unlike a Chuan. Countless times, sitting alone in her car, she thought, just indulge yourself once, then return to a Chuan. She was a doctor. How could she not know Ding Wang's condition? He gave her a report, and she chose to believe it. Sometimes, it is easier to turn a blind eye. She kept pushing a Chuan for a divorce. As long as they divorced, the conscience that terrified her, buried deep inside, would finally weaken. She simply could not accept that, in a Chuan's eyes, she was nothing but a cheater. She was robbing Peter to pay Paul. Every step was like walking a tightrope, until she fell into the abyss and was shattered. That home, the home that had a Chuan in it, she could never return to it. Dr. Gu. What is wrong? Dr. Gu. The patient is hemorrhaging. It has spread. This is bad. It has invaded the surrounding tissue. Later, hospital staff gossiped about it during breaks, or treated it as a cautionary tale. That operation was a complete failure. The lead surgeon fled midway through it, causing the patient irreversible harm. The lead surgeon was sentenced to 3 years in prison. After a Chuan was gone, Qinghan was no longer a golden-handed surgeon. She could not even be a doctor anymore. When Qinghan was released from prison, it was tomb sweeping day. I want that bouquet of lilies. They were my husband's favorite. A Chuan's grave was spotless. It seemed someone visited often. The photograph on his headstone, his smile so radiant, made her heart tremble. A Chuan was still so young. But in 3 years, she had aged and withered as though 30 had passed. Just as she reached out to touch the photograph, a little girl of 6 or 7 spoke behind her. Do not touch it. You are not allowed to pay respects to my godfather. She was the little girl a Chuan had once saved. Go away. You married another man. You killed my godfather. You are not welcome here. Qinghan gave a bitter smile. She had never expected a Chuan to be so ruthless. He had not even let her arrange his funeral. He had entrusted it all to the little girl's family. Qinghan left the cemetery alone. She looked up at the gray, gloomy sky. It felt as though the sky was about to cry. It is raining, run. With a thunderous crash, rain came pouring down. It was as if she had returned to that summer. She was a graduate student. Li Chuan was an undergraduate. Do not get soaked, senior. I have an umbrella. That was how a Chuan gently entered her long, lonely world. By the time they reached her dormitory, one of his shoulders was drenched. Yet she was still dry, and she felt ashamed. He had been completely focused on caring for her. When he smiled, his eyes shone brightly. It is fine, senior. I am strong. He was so kind. How could she bear to scold him? How could she tell him to be more forgiving? Guilt, like green shoots, had already grown into tangled vines inside her. With a sickening sound, Qinghan collapsed in the rain. Bright red blood snaked across the ground with the rainwater. The knife a Chuan had taken for her years ago had finally come back to her. This time, no one was there to take the blade for her. She knew the person who had stabbed her. It was a family member of the patient from her final failed operation. She truly deserved to die. She had fled the operating room and killed someone's beloved family member. Those who betray sincere love never meet a good end, do they? Like her. A Chuan, will you come take me with you? No one answered her but the rain. After she died, she met the system. After begging for a long time, the system agreed to let her see a Chuan. I am only doing this because you were once a doctor who saved many patients. One peaceful evening, Li Chuan dozed in a rattan chair by the door. His father called from inside. A Chuan, what do you want for dinner? Clay pot congee and salt and pepper baby potatoes. We have to have potatoes. I know they are your favorite. Qinghan's guilt began sprouting again, because she did not like potatoes. A Chuan had accommodated her for 10 years. She could not touch him. She watched him happily rise from the chair and run outside. Hey, kid, stealing lemons from my yard again. They are sour enough to make your face pucker. Big brother, I will make lemon tea for you. Want some? Only then did Qinghan realize that only one of a Chuan's legs was healthy. He wore a prosthetic leg on the other side. Big brother, how can you run so fast with only one leg? Because I am an alien with a super strong metal leg. He was optimistic, just like the Chuan she knew. No wonder he loved running and sports so much. It was because of his physical disability. Yet he was still so optimistic. He was happy, surrounded by love, loved by so many people. And he loved so many people too. His father, friends, and brothers. The little girl he had saved. He even loved the cold system. Only not her. He did not want her anymore. Qinghan suddenly realized, with bitter sadness, that even in death, she was so alone. News reports in her world said that Dr. Gu, once the golden-handed surgeon, had died outside her late husband's cemetery. No one